Hello, and how would you like to take your content website from $200 per month to making $9,000 per month? Hi, I'm Jaryd Krause, host of the Buying Online Businesses podcast, and in this episode, I'm talking with James Norquay, who has not only bought, sold, and scaled multiple websites through great SEO, but has worked agency side in his own SEO agency with companies like Virgin Blue, Citi Bank, and Woolworths, just to name a few. Now, James's company, Prosperity Media, was awarded the Best Agency Award in Australia at the SEMRush Search Engine Marketing Awards as well. And I wanted to get James on the podcast to talk about some of the results he has gotten with his clients and how he got those results for his clients. But as I started to discuss things with James, we talked about his motivation for wanting to earn an income online, what his background is, and what pushed him to the online space. Then he shared with me why he likes to buy websites, sometimes over starting them from scratch, and why that can be beneficial to him. But then he dropped a story about how he bought a website for $4,000, making $2,000 per month, and how he was able to get that to $9,000 per month. Then I asked him and changed my whole script of everything I wanted to speak to him about how to grow this site. Now, there is a big disclaimer here. He did spend time and money on this, and the site doesn't make $9,000 consistently every single month. It's in the competitive niche. Sometimes it makes 7, 5, 9, 8, or 10 grand a month. And he did spend money, time, and resources to build this site himself. I specifically asked him questions around how he was able to increase the income for this website through changing things with affiliate partners, changing the website structure, SEO, link building, changing content, and then we even talked a little bit about EAT and building some authority. So there's so much value in this podcast episode around how he was able to scale this site from $200 per month up to the $9,000 per month range. And if you are going to buy a content website or you already own a content website, you're absolutely going to love this episode and you're going to get so much from it. Before you think about buying a website, if you haven't already, make sure you do go away to buyingonlinebusinesses.com/free resources, get my due diligence framework that I used and many of my clients have used to buy online businesses. That takes the guesswork out of doing due diligence and buying a business. Because we talk about buying websites in this episode, but I want to make a disclaimer. Make sure you get some help doing that before you go and buy one of these websites and scale it like James has done. Let's dive into the episode. Do you want to build or grow your content website? Niche website builders have helped hundreds of people to take their content websites from a few $100s per month to over tens of thousands of dollars per month with crafted content creation, buying aged domains, and link building strategies. These strategies have helped people increase their traffic, authority, monthly earnings, and their website valuation too. Head to nichewebsite.builders/BOB/ to get 10% off any link building or 10% more from their content creation services. That's nichewebsite.builders/Bob/. I'll put a link in the description too. James, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, Jaryd. Pleasure to be here.
I'm looking forward to speaking to somebody down under, just down the road. It's between yourself and myself, it is a 10-hour drive, and it's actually, we're still pretty close to each other compared to how big Australia is, right? Like it's quite big. Most people underestimate how big it is. But I want to dive straight into asking you about websites and SEO and all that sort of stuff. But let's get stuck in with buying websites before. You've bought a few websites before, have you?
Yeah, bought many websites over the years. Bought probably like 10 websites. Bought probably over 100 premium domain names. Yeah, pretty much very active in that space. Affiliate, also run an agency in Sydney that specializes in SEO and content. We've got about 20 staff. So yeah, we're pretty busy.
Yeah, it's good. So what got you started buying websites? Or should I say, did you do anything before you decided to make an income online at all?
Well, funnily enough, I actually used to work in construction for my uncle's construction business. So back when I was really young, like I'm talking like 16, 17. And then when I was around 17, I knew someone that was running a car wallpapers website. So he basically said I can make a lot of money with SEO traffic and basically generating traffic to his car wallpaper website. So I said, "Oh, sweet! I'm going to get into the website development space and make money with SEO too." And I started a MySpace layout website. That website went on to get like 20 million visitors to it. I actually sold that website to a bigger media company. This was many years ago when MySpace was popular.
Yeah.
And off the back of that, probably started like 10 other sites in like entertainment, all targeting the US market. Yeah, pretty much. That's how I got into it, just through a random car forum that I was on. And I was just chatting to another member on there, and he was telling me how he was making like money on the side, and
Sick.
that's how I got into the industry.
Yeah, right. Random, very random, but also cool.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's been a interesting journey that we're on. So basically, got into all that stuff. Started building websites there, and then went and got into the agency industry too. And yeah, started a SEO and content agency 10 years ago, but we still do a lot of our own websites and stuff as well. I'd probably say 80% client, 20% of our own websites and media properties that we run. So yeah.
And so you've bought some websites as well. So you've started a few, but you've bought some as well, have you? And
Yeah, I've
what sort
bought
of
websites. Probably about six established websites that I've bought from different places. Like I bought one on like a forum. I've bought them on like Slack groups. Like bought them on marketplaces, just all over the place. I kind
Yeah.
of prefer to buy websites from more random places because I can feel like you can get a better deal sometimes if you get
Yeah.
a motivated seller. Like sometimes you can get a good deal. Some of the bigger marketplaces and bigger institutions, sometimes a little bit more trickier to get a good deal, but you can still get good deals if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, of course. There's great deals to be had. It depends on, like you said, if you know what you're doing and you know what you're looking at and you can identify value, that's the hardest thing, right? Is identifying value. So, and then also identifying risk that may come along with that. What just made you decide to, like, since you can start sites and you do it and you're good at it, you got an agency that, big team around that helps you with that. What's your motivation? What was your motivation for buying sites? Is it
I don't
you're
know.
already
I guess
established or just yeah,
I guess the motivation is like when you work in an industry like construction, you realize what a hard job is, and then you go and do a job like digital marketing, buying and selling websites. You're like, holy hell! Like this is a this is an easy job. You don't want to go back to being a laborer on a construction site. So I guess that's probably a good motivation, is realizing that this is a great career to be in.
yeah,
Realizing that there's a lot of prosperity from this type of industry as well. You can make good money if you know what you're doing. You can make a lot more money than a lot of other jobs. And I think it is a tricky industry because you do kind of have to know what you're doing to do well, especially to buy and sell websites. You can't just have no clue because you'll get burnt. You have to know the basics. You have to know like what is a quality site, what's not a quality site. Like there's so many things you can look into in that space as well.
yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm the same with you on motivation. I was plumbing for almost 10
Hmm.
years. And yeah, being on the job site it sucks. That was my motivation. I was just like, stuff this. Like, not sure if you've traveled much, but us Aussies are pretty known for loving to travel. That was my motivation. Is like, hey, I can't just travel as much as I want with this stupid plumbing job and just going to wreck my body. When it's also, like you said, the income is like when you own your own business, there's no like cap to how much you earn. When I was plumbing, you could only earn like $40 an hour or whatever it is. Now it's for $70. But yeah, it's big
Uh,
motivation to get off the tools, right?
100%. Like 100%. Like that's the thing. A lot of people that come into this industry and they've never done a hard job, sometimes they don't realize what a hard work is.
Mm,
And I think yeah, and you're right. Like the flexibility of doing online businesses, you do have the ability to travel. I mean, because I run an agency, it's got a physical office. It is a bit harder just to leave and go traveling. But yeah, I mean, I've traveled all over the place. I mean, I've been to like 35 countries or something like that. So I've seen a lot. But yeah, I mean, like there's always more that you can see and more that you can do. Yeah, I guess yeah, definitely that's a motivation is being the ability to generate more money and having the ability to kind of go where you want and do what you want. And you're right, like the thing about like working in trades, it's not as scalable as say online marketing, online industry, because it can be quite scalable. You can make money when you're asleep, especially if you're an Australian that is running like websites in the American market. Like it's always great to wake up and say, "Oh wow, like I've made this extra money over like when I was asleep." You know, you can't do that in a lot of jobs. So
Yeah, it's a good point. Making money while you sleep. That's an old school marketing sort of word, make money while you sleep. But it's so true. I'd never really thought about it until you mentioned it for a long time. It's just like, hey, it's these sites that I have, they make money whether you do much or not, as long as that you buy well. So I wanted to ask more specifically around buying versus starting, because you can start, as many as you want. Well, up to the capacity that your team can handle. But what do you like or dislike about buying websites versus starting them from scratch?
I think the main benefit of buying an established website is that like you're going to save that time, especially from an SEO point of view. As a good example, I bought a site. I think I only paid like 4,000 USD for it like about 2 years ago. So it was only making like $200 a month. And the guy that I bought it off, I think he was just over it, like, because it's a competitive niche, right? So I
Mm.
bought that site 2 years ago, bought it for about $4,000. It was making like $200 a month. And then basically he'd already put like 200 pieces of content on it. They'd already had an established link profile. Fundamentally, the structure of the site was pretty sound. It had a really good brand name as well. It just wasn't making money. And he thought, shit, this niche is too competitive. So we bought that site. We've been able to scale that business up, scale the site up. I think it makes anywhere from like 9 to 10K a month now. In the like, that's just like an example of just one site, one content site that we have. So yeah, being able to fix it up, but it fluctuates. It's a competitive market too. So um, yeah, it can that site. It's super competitive niche. So like you can make like good money one month, and there can be like sales on, and then it can drop down a little bit. It goes up. But the thing is, the amount of money that we paid to buy that site, and the amount of
Yeah.
money that we made back just from scaling it up, like adding heaps of content onto it, optimizing existing content, fixing internal links, just doing all the SEO stuff, doing all the fundamentals in the last 2 years. Like we've scaled it up to a point. Like I could sell that site tomorrow on like Empire Flippers or wherever else and make like good money. But I think it's like it's a brand that we want to potentially build out more. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
man.
benefit of buying an existing site. You do save that like the Google Sandbox time or whatever people refer to as like the time that it takes when you launch a fresh site, like that has no index history. When you
Yeah.
launch a fresh site, you're going to be looking at 6 to 12 months to see results. Whereas if you have something that's already established, you can kind of hit the runway quicker, I guess you could say.
You've already got some stuff behind you. So congratulations, buying a site for 4 grand, making $200 a month to 9 to 10 grand a month. That's pretty awesome. And I want to say we can't just skip over that, because people are going to be like, hang on a second, well, like $200 a month to 9 grand a month. What what did we do? And you mentioned a few things, adding content, internal links, and all the SEO stuff. But could you break it down for us in like, say, what you did in, say, the first year, or over like what did you do first, and then next and next and next? So what was the first thing once you bought that site that you did?
Oh, the first thing I did was basically get rid of the Amazon affiliate links because they don't pay nothing. And basically, you're getting like 2% on the sales. And then
Yeah.
basically went out into the market and just contacted direct affiliates that were paying between 8 and 10% because it's a
Mm,
higher ticket item. Most of them are willing to go about 8 to 10% on the affiliate commissions. So the easiest way to make money when you buy a new site is swap out your affiliate programs to a higher paying offer. A lot of people rely heavily upon Amazon, but it just doesn't pay much. especially in the Australian and US markets, I've found. Whilst it can convert well, I feel like if you're able to pick up the phone and do deals with affiliates directly in like Australia or in the US, you can make so much more. Also, just we got lucky with scaling out some of the content pages on that site, and like we're able to get direct deals and offers with certain other partners and just monetize pages. It was essentially like the biggest success we had with that site was just getting new partners on board, getting
Yeah.
higher commission rates. Like that's how you can go from $200 to $3,000 in like the matter of a couple of months, is by just dealing with like affiliate partners and getting on the phone and just changing it, optimizing it, like adding new pages that are related to their brand, doing reviews, getting them to send you product. It's hard work, but it can pay off.
Oh, of course. Look at that. Look at what you've done there. So, was this a solely affiliate site? Like, was this like 80, 90, or 100% affiliate content, or was there some info articles as well?
I'd probably say it was like 60% info, 40% commercial.
Cool.
Usually we like to go like 80-20, 80% informational content, 20% affiliate content.
Affiliate.
Even less than that now, I think people are trying to go for with all these updates and whatnot. Yeah, like I think yeah, you just got to be careful like with too much commercial content on a site. But yeah, pretty much there's a good mix of info content. If anything, we want to add more info content to the site. We actually built out a few content assets on the site too. I
Just
got like a
explain what a
cheap tool.
can you just explain what a content asset actually is for somebody thinking about maybe email marketing? I understand the term, but just for people like, what is a content asset?
Yeah, so a content asset is basically something that you can use as like a linkable asset. So, like a statistics page, a tool, a calculator. So, we actually added like a couple of statistics pages onto the site. We added a calculator, just things like that, just things that you can generate high quality links into. And then usually what we do when we make statistic pages is like we'll run some paid ads to those to get additional links, and we'll build links to them and get them ranking. And they're a great mechanism for an affiliate site to build up more like authority content pieces to kind of set yourself apart from the competitors. Because that's one thing that I always think you need to start getting in the mindset, especially if you're in the affiliate content game. You need to be building things that your competitors can't do. Because I think the more competitive the vertical that you're in, everyone can just copy everyone else. You
Hmm.
need to do things that your competitors can't do. That's one thing that I've learned over the years.
That's really good. So you bought the site, changed over and worked with some affiliate partners. You understood what hard work is, being on the tools. So you went and did that with getting some better affiliate partners, and then creating some content assets. What else helped you grow this business? Like, what did you move on to next? Was there more
Like
content? Updating content?
redesign the site as well. We did a full redesign too. So when we bought the site, it looked pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. It looked like someone had spent $5 on a Fiverr logo and just slapped a whole bunch of pages together. So we did a redesign, fixed the structure, did some URL changes to the structure. Just little things, so many little things like just
Mm.
removing like year values from URL slugs, just all sorts of stuff, fixing technical issues on the site, cleaning up the design to make the design better, but then also basically like focusing on like some conversion rate optimization stuff, just like working on copy,
Yep.
working on our intro copy, on conversion articles, stuff like that. Like just trying to convert the traffic more,
Yeah,
stuff
cool.
like that.
So a bit of conversion rate optimization for
Yeah,
affiliate like money pages, I guess you could call them. And then you've got, are we talking site redesign? There's some technical SEO in that, right? But also, like were you looking at user experience as well? Was that a big thing, or was that
not
just
so
more the
much. Like
technical?
just trying to make the design look nicer. Like we got a design team that we work with. Like spend a bit of money on the design just to the old site looked like it was built in the 90s. Just had to bring it into 2021, 22, make it look cleaner. And that definitely helped with conversion too. I think by changing the site and working on conversion, I think it was like a 30% uplift or something. I can't remember the exact number. I did look into it last year, but the amount of additional revenue that we got was quite considerable.
Yeah. I bought a site that looked like it was built in 1992 as well. And we changed the site design and just the layout of how people would read the content, the size of the font, even the type of the font. It just makes a massive difference for user experience and keeping people on the page longer, right?
Oh, 100%. Like you can make subtle changes to a site and it can add a lot of value. You can make a
Mm.
lot more money, and like sometimes like the quickest way to make additional revenue from an affiliate site can be like the most basic stuff, fixing the design, fixing the conversion copywriting, just fixing the logo, like just making like more trust signals on the site,
Yeah. Yeah.
like you got to test different stuff. But that's the crazy thing about affiliate. Like it can fluctuate.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why it can be easier to have more evergreen content for info articles, or info articles being more evergreen content where you don't have to force for conversions and update them as much if they're not really heavy affiliate pages, right?
Exactly, yeah. Like if you've got a lot of info content, you don't really need to update it too much. Just got to make the design on those look nice and
Mm.
just update the data. I think that's one thing a lot of people neglect is when they have like they'll build info content, but then it's like from 2015, they never update the pages and stuff like that.
Mm.
I feel
Mm.
like it's quick to just go back and update the data, ensure that it's up to date, and ensure that that you have pages that are in like updated with the current time. Just make it better for the users.
For sure. So it sounds like when you bought this and you went through and you did your affiliate stuff, getting better partners, and then you did a lot of sort of redesign, SEO sort of stuff. But you said there was 200 pieces of content or 200 articles. Did you add more? Did you take some away? If so, what did you take away and why? What did you add? How many pieces of content did you add, and what type and why?
Yeah, so basically, this site that we acquired was targeting the UK market. So we actually flipped that to target Australia and the US market. So we did take away some of the UK content and we kept a lot of the more general informational content. And then we added a lot of content that was targeting Australia and the US market. Just because I know those markets better. Been
Mhm.
doing SEO in Australia and the US for like 16 years now. So I don't know much about UK market, but it worked. Like that's like another strategy for affiliates in Australia. You can take a site in the US or UK and you can flip it for Australian market and change the targeting. Like that's something you can do. I don't see a lot of people talking about strategies like that, but I've done it a few times. It can work.
Where you're talking about redoing a piece of content for the Australian audience, changing the keyword even to how to buy these in Australia, or like what are some of the things that you do to flip
So
that?
basically, like, say you're looking for a site to buy, and you see, okay, there's a shoe website, and it's targeting the best shoes in the UK, right? But in the UK market, it's a little bit more competitive than Australia. And then you identify that, okay, I want to target shoes in the Australian market. You change that site targeting in GSC from UK to Australia. Usually you might need to change the URL, but if you get like a .co URL that you buy, something like, or a .com, you can change the targeting from UK to Australia. And then you go in and change the articles. So you update the intent of the article from a UK targeting article to Australian targeting article. And then you start adding a lot more content to the site that's Australian or US focused content. Get what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Cool.
So that's a strategy you can do. Like I've done that a few times. It can work, but I've seen a few people doing similar stuff now though.
Just for people listening, when you say change the intent or where the traffic thing in GSC, you're talking about Google Search Console, right? Just for people
Google
listening.
Search Console. Sorry,
Yeah.
sometimes I talk in abbreviations. You get
No,
used to
but it's
that
good.
of it.
I understand it, but just for people, like, what
Yeah.
are you talking about, mate?
Oh, don't worry. Like when you got an office full of SEO professionals,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you start talking in abbreviations. Like some of the words, like if you're someone who's not in SEO or affiliate space, like you won't know what they're talking about. Sometimes I understand completely.
Yeah. And so this one, you built out some content assets. They would have got you a bunch of links. Did you do any other sort of link building or anything like that to build the authority of this?
Yeah, so I mean, like we basically just do outreach to get links. Outreach, I mean, just reach out to like we'll do like competitive analysis to see where competitors are getting links. We'll look in like Australian, US markets for ideas. So we'll do that. We do a lot of outreach. I got a team in house that does outreach. We reach out to partners to see if we can get links back from partners, affiliate partners that we work with. Build out a few content assets. Um, yeah, I mean, just a whole bunch of different stuff, like just all. Look, we tested a whole bunch of different link acquisition on strategies on this site. But yeah, I mean, what worked the best was definitely just outreach for like guest posts, outreach to content pieces for links. I mean, we tested a little bit of like Harrow and stuff like that, help a reporter out. Didn't really see that much success. I think the people that, I think Harrow is definitely getting harder. I think you got to be a thought leader in your space to get quality links on there now. You can't
Mm.
just be a average Joe Schmo with an affiliate site. You got to have a silver lining bullet to get a link on there now. It's definitely I'm hearing people say the success ratio is very low. So yeah.
Yeah, I got a client this has been looking at Haro stuff and not really an influencer in the space and not knowing whether he wants to be, but has found the same thing as you. It's like, hey, it's a lot of work too. Like you've to get these Haro links.
Well, it's a lot of pitches. Like people
Yeah,
are sending out hundreds of pitches, and if you got a 1% conversion rate, you're gonna have to send 100 pitches.
yeah,
Can be a lot of time for
totally.
people. I think like it's like I was talking to someone the other day. Like if you want to get results on there now, you got to be like certified in your industry. You got to be like a CPA trying to get finance stuff. If you're just
Yeah,
some random finance affiliate trying to get a finance link, you're dreaming now. It's so hard. And the thing is, a lot of people that sell Harrow links, they sell them on like really trashy sites. There's sites that are linking out to 50 or 60 other sites. What's the quality of that link? It's devalued.
mm,
I don't think it's going to add a lot of value. And that's what our team's been doing some testing internally. And we're seeing some Harrow links that just don't add any value at all. So that's another thing that we do. It's good that we can test a lot of this stuff to see actually what works and what doesn't work on our own affiliate properties and
mm.
whatnot before we do it for clients and stuff like that. So yeah.
So that's good. That's good. That's really good to hear. Tell us about, with affiliate sites, Google obviously not loving people that are just starting or creating affiliate sites, hiding behind a laptop, reviewing the best 10 Nikes to buy without any authority behind them. What are some of the things that you guys have experimented with and seen success in terms of building some EAT through
Yeah,
that?
so for the EAT stuff, yeah, like I think EAT is definitely important. I mean, you just need to start with things like having an About Us page, linking to relevant sources, like LinkedIn, if you got a LinkedIn author, like stuff like that. I mean, actually having a real person on the page is important. Things like that.
Yeah, yeah. And so what about people that don't want to be an influencer or don't have accreditation in the space? Say, for example, it's a niche that they're in or they've started or they don't want to be an authority in it. What are some of the do you have any little things that you do to build authority but still have be real authority on those sites?
I mean, a lot of people, what they're doing is basically like partnering up with other influencers as well. So basically,
Yeah.
they'll reach out to other influencers in the space and be like, "Oh, can we partner up to be featured on your site?" And like
Yeah.
that way, they use someone else's authority. So someone else might have decent following, and then yeah, you can just offer them free promotion. Like that's something that we've tested a little bit of,
Yeah.
and it can work 100%.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to go. We test that out with coaching clients of mine that we're helping build their sites. buying something with no EAT is not the end of the world. If you're buying something, affiliate sites is a bit harder, but with ad revenue sites, we've seen that, like, hey, it's it's a double win. It's a win for everybody. Linking to them, and then you linking to they're linking to you, and doing the swap over of links. It's a huge win, really.
Yeah, 100%. I think if you can leverage someone else's authority, you can do it. And I'm seeing more and more affiliates talking about that type of stuff. It's just like anything. I think to do well in the affiliate space, you got to be acting like a real business,
Yeah.
I think that's what Google wants in the end of the day, putting an address on your website, putting a phone number, having an About Us page with legit people, having like your review policy. How do you actually review these products? Because once you're a real business, like, that's setting yourself apart from the competitors that are hiding behind like the screen or whatever. Or
exactly.
I think that's one thing that you have to do, is try to treat yourself like more of a real business to do well.
Yes, I totally agree. Totally agree. Google, why try and play against Google when you should, if you play by their rules, you can be rewarded, rather than trying to do something dodgy and hide behind these tactics that don't actually work, and you can get penalized. Just do the right thing, help them make their business better, and they're going to help you make your business better when you follow by the rules that they outline. James, it's been awesome to chat. I basically just asked you questions off the cuff, and I had another agenda for the call, but I think we'll have to get you back for another episode if you're open to it. It's talking about some of the things that you've done for your clients. There's some pretty cool case studies that you got on your site people can go check out. Where should I send them to check them out? And I'm thinking about maybe we get you back on to talk about one of those. But what's the best way to get in contact with you?
prosperitymedia.com.au. That's our website. I mean, you can always add me on LinkedIn, James Norquay. But yeah, no, just check us out on Prosperity Media. We got a YouTube channel as well for a lot of SEO content. If you want to learn more about SEO or just hear our team talking about different things, there's a few videos on there that are insightful. Done a few conference talks on there too. So yeah, that's a good place to start. And more than happy to come back and answer more questions. But yeah, I'm pretty used to just answering questions off the cuffs, without knowing what's going to be asked of us. I mean, that's a big part of our job. We're always on the spot, getting questions asked all day long. So it's part of the job.
Yep. Totally agree. Whenever I'm getting interviewed, I've got no idea what I'm going to get hit with, but it's, if you're in the space and you know what you're talking about, it's obviously valuable to everyone. And this has been incredibly valuable. So thank you so much for coming on. Everybody that is listening, thank you for listening. If you did like the episode, please make sure you hit subscribe. And also think of 2 to 3 people who are thinking about buying a content website and building it up, similar, hopefully, to what James has done, $200 a month to, $9 to 10 grand a month, and share this podcast episode with them. That's it, guys. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, YouTube watcher, if you thought that video was good, you should check out this video here on the 2 best types of websites beginners should buy. Or check out my playlist on how I made my first 100K from buying websites and how to do due diligence. Check it out. It's an awesome playlist. You'll enjoy it.